Welcome to Springboro 45066, the TV news magazine of Springboro, Ohio. In part 2 of our fall edition, we meet our new superintendent of schools, Larry Hook, and get an update on how the schools are navigating the new normal. At the Springboro Chamber, President Hughes talks to Carrie about the business stimulus package. Christmas Springboro committee member Doug Buchy talks about alternative plans to celebrate the holidays this year in historic downtown district. On Meet Your Neighbor, we talk to a local veterinarian and longtime Springboro resident, Chip Beall. And it's all happening right now on Springboro 45066, Part 2. Okay, we're glad you're back with us. Part 2, we are still at Logan's Park. Isn't it beautiful here?
It is gorgeous.
Oh, this is great, this is great. Anyway, we have another Part 2 show, fun-packed show for you and all your family, and anybody who wants to watch us. Anyway, Carrie, where are we going first?
We are heading to the central office of the schools. I had the opportunity to sit down with our new superintendent, Mr. Larry Hook.
Larry, all right.
We are at the central offices of Springboro schools today, and while there are lots of new things happening at Springboro schools, we are with the new superintendent, Larry Hook. Larry, welcome back to Springboro schools.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
So, I must ask, what brings you back to Springboro in the middle of a pandemic?
Great question. Not sure if I have a great answer other than I've made Springboro my home for nearly 17 years. And since I've been away professionally, I've driven over to Carlisle, where I was the superintendent there for 10 years. I still lived here.
Sure.
So I'm very connected in Springboro. This is my home. This is where I raised my family. And so it's a very special place to me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what are your goals for the upcoming school year?
Well, this is kind of a unique year, and I'm not.
That it is.
I know I'm stating the obvious. So this is it's nothing new. Every school district in Ohio and across the country are dealing with trying to reopen and trying to get some kind of normalcy for children, and we're doing the same thing. And I've got to say publicly, I'm very impressed with our administrators and principals and teachers that have rolled their sleeves up to try to pull this off and do it in a positive way and make it the best environment for our kids and the safest environment for our kids. And so, my goals really are pretty simple. Let's get this up and running, okay? Get our kids back, provide some stability and normalcy for them in the safest environment that we can. This will pass. At some point, and we need to be leaders and not followers, and that's what we want to try to do and accomplish, and that's what we expect in Springboro.
That is what we expect in Springboro. Very, very true.
Because of the unique situation that COVID-19 is laid before us, the necessity for bringing teachers back became very apparent, and so we've brought them back 12 days in advance of the start of school. And what is the new normal like? Sure. And how's that going to be different? We have to be able to train kids on things that we didn't really think we had to train them on before. What's the best way to do drop-off and pickups for students? Whether you're being brought in by your parents, or if you're riding the bus. What are we doing at bus stops? How are we dealing with that? How do we seat? How do we, we're doing seating charts in every available scenario. We're learning how to transition. When can we go to lockers? How are we dealing with lunches? How are we dealing with recesses and PE classes and some of the unique pieces that we have to do. And for some kids, haven't had to deal with social distancing. And, I just in my own neighborhood, you can see some got an idea, some don't. Sure. But in the environment that schools provide, we have to teach our children those kind of things. And, everything from face masks to personal hygiene and hand washing and disinfecting surfaces. It's just the new normal that we have to prepare for. And so that's a huge piece. And then another piece is preparing for our virtual students.
The Plan B.
The Plan B model. So we have a Model A and a Model B, which virtually every school around us has as well. Okay, and the Model A is for those people and families that have chosen to send their kids back to school, and that's about 78% of our public. But it's pretty consistent. If you look around other districts within Warren County, we're in that range.
Okay.
That's kind of where everybody's at. Then, so getting that going, that's easier in the sense that being in school with students, that's kind of what we've done.
That's what we're used to.
Yeah, so a little bit easier, but all the protocols are different.
Right,
so
right.
Learning that kind of thing is really critical.
Sure. But then the teachers also have to prepare for the Plan B kids.
Exactly.
Well, correct?
Exactly. So those are going to be taught, but it's a different type of methodology when you teach online versus teaching in person. And so it creates, okay, how do I teach differently when I'm in that virtual environment?
Right.
And how can I be the most impactful for our students? And so we're getting a lot of professional development on that end. One of the things they learned at Lebanon real quickly, because they were the first ones to start, and immediately the first day or second day,
They had positive
they had a
cases.
positive case.
I know.
Well, then that's going to happen. But, and then they had a second one the next day. One of the things they learned from this that we all shared was that particular student they all went as a family to be tested. Okay, school starts Monday, and they didn't have results back yet.
Got it.
So what's the obvious lesson learned is if you go and you test, wait until you get the results
Before you go to school.
You go to school. So you know, it's
course.
kind of like one of those. Yes.
It seems like a no-brainer, but
You know,
but we've never done this before.
the teachers they're learning, they're understanding the process as well. You know, and we've been trying to tell our teachers and our staff, you got to remember two things with this. You know, 6 feet, 15 minutes.
Right.
Those are our guidelines. Okay, so you got to understand to protect yourself,
Yep.
to keep your distance, okay? Know what time frame you're at. You can go help a child. Absolutely. We're expecting you to.
Absolutely.
Mask up and then back up. Okay? And so if you understand that and keep that, there's no reason that you will ever be quarantined based on something that happened at school. Now, it doesn't mean a family member
Sure.
couldn't happen. There are other scenarios. Do I think it could happen? Well, sure.
Of course.
But I think we have to be smart. Nobody likes face masks. Nobody likes all these restrictions. That's not how we socially function.
Sure.
I get it.
No, I think that's fantastic. One final question. What are you most excited about being back at Springboro?
Oh, golly. Just the camaraderie. You know, when I left here back in 2010, I took my first superintendency. We accomplished building 5 Points and Dennis, and adding the addition to the junior high, the addition to the high school and Care Flight Field. Those were some pretty big monumental things. We had to. We were growing at 300 students a year. I came in the midst of that. And so when I first came here, we had trailers everywhere. And
I remember those days.
Going beyond them. And so all those challenges, and what I loved about it was everybody rolling up their sleeves, and I really loved seeing our community come together in that. And so what I want to see is that kind of togetherness. You know, we can do anything we want to in Springboro. We just have to be on the same path, and we have to understand that why we exist is for our children and for this community. Schools are the heartbeat of this community. Okay, and we want this school district to be an example not just in Southwest Ohio, but all of Ohio as the way to do it.
I agree with you. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on 45066 today. Welcome back to Springboro Schools.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you on in the future.
Outstanding. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Back to you. Thanks, Larry. We appreciated you taking time to sit down with us, and we wish you the best of luck here in Springboro. It's great to have you back.
Go Schools. Well, Carol was not able to make our last show.
Right.
Did it? And it wasn't our normal show. It was our sort of pandemic show.
Right, our COVID update.
Yeah, our COVID update show. And she's now going to be with you in a nice interview.
Yes.
About some cards, right?
Right. We visited the Chamber of Commerce to talk about the kind of stimulus program that was developed between the city of Springboro and the Chamber to help some of our small businesses during the shutdown.
That's good.
So let's go check that out. I am with the lovely Carol Hughes from the Springboro Chamber of Commerce today. Carol, welcome back to 45066.
Thanks, Carrie. It's great to see you.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to see you. To say that 2020 has been an unprecedented, tough, difficult year for business would probably be an understatement.
Absolutely.
Now, the city of Springboro, in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce, did its own somewhat stimulus package. Would you mind kind of telling us a little bit about that and how our Springboro community can be involved?
Yes. So, Carrie, the city of Springboro came up with a little over $100,000 to distribute to businesses. 38 businesses received an award. They had to apply and be approved. And in return, they signed an agreement with the chamber. We were the distributor of the funds.
Okay.
Signed an agreement with the chamber that when we sold gift certificates to those businesses, that they would honor them. So I'm going to use an example. Heather's Coffee and Cafe. You buy a gift certificate for $25 for Heather's. Heather has to honor that. When you go to Heather's, you might spend more than $25.
I usually do.
Heather would benefit again, but Heather benefited from the award that she received from the city. So we are still selling the gift certificates. They go in $25 increments. There's 38 businesses that we are selling them for, and it's going quite well. We've sold quite a number of gift certificates, and people are using them as gifts. They're using them if they're going to go and have lunch or dinner. They're using them, in your case, as closing gifts.
Absolutely.
For your
for
sellers.
My clients, yes.
And buyers. And they're being used for all kinds of different reasons. So we're very happy with how the program's going. We would love the community support. So if you haven't bought one yet, go to the Chamber of Commerce website, click on the gift certificate tab, and you will be able to buy a gift certificate.
Right. And it's 38 different businesses, is
Yes,
that correct?
yes.
I mean, it ranges from our local bars and restaurants to photography to some of the martial arts studios, kids clubhouse, the indoor playground.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of different options for our community.
Yep.
Now, something important to know is these gift cards do expire on December 31st,
Yes,
is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they expire on December 31st, so let's get out there, buy the gift cards, but also use them by the end of the year.
There you go. Well, thanks, Carrie.
Well, thank you for joining us. It was lovely seeing you. Stay safe out there.
Yes, thank you, Carrie.
Back to you. Thanks, Carol. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
You know, we were able to take that CARES Act money and spread it around our businesses, but also we were able to give the school money for laptops and things like that. So
that's
that worked
fantastic.
out. That worked out well. We spent the money wisely for our community.
Fantastic, Mayor. We appreciate you doing that.
That's what the council and staff's all about. You had a nice interview with Doug Buchy about the Christmas Springboro scaled down version, but we're still going to do something. We're still trying to have things happening all the time in Springboro if we can.
I did. Doug is fantastic, and he was generous enough to meet with me at Rotary Park and kind of give our community an overview of what Christmas in Springboro is going to look like this year. Shall we go check that out?
That's absolutely.
We are in the lovely Rotary Park today with Doug from the Christmas in Springboro Committee. Doug, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Tell me what is going on with this year's festival.
Well, first off, unfortunately, the festival as we love and know it for the last 34 years is not going to happen.
So no parade.
No parade, unfortunately. But we have something that we're going to do to mitigate all this problem.
Okay, tell, please.
Well, it's going to be called the 12 Days of Christmas. It's going to start on November 11th and go until November 22nd, which would have been the normal end to the festival.
Sure.
And so there's going to be a lot of things going on all over the city, and especially here in Main Street. So let me tell you about some of them. First off, we're going to have a virtual 5K instead of the 5K on Saturday morning.
Awesome.
It will be virtual. You can do it anytime during the 12 days, and you will be able to sign up. It'll be a $20 fee. You will get a gator that you can use for your distancing.
Sure.
And that will have the logo on it.
Neat.
So there's a way to still do the 5K. We are going to have a passport system so that people can buy a passport for $1. And I should remind everybody that Christmas in Springboro is a 503c organization, that everything that is made over and above the cost of putting on the festival goes back to the community. We support 3 major charities: the SCAC, Franklin Food Pantry, and also Operation Christmas Santa with the police department. So all that will come back to it. So for a $1 passport, you will get to go through those 12 days to 5 different very famous places to go: Crooked Handle, Mr. Burroughs Tavern, Warped Wing, The Barrel, and Heather's. And what that will be is when you make a purchase there, you will get a stamp on your passport. If you go to 3 of those in the 12 days, you'll be entered once for the grand prize, which will be a large screen TV and a shopping spree for Main Street, which is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be awesome.
If you go to 4, you'll get 2 entries. And if you go to 5, you get 3 entries. So that will be a lot of fun too.
Fantastic.
The next neat thing about it is that Crooked Handle and Warped Wing are going together to build and brew a special 12 Days of Christmas in Springboro beer that will be available at those 5 venues.
Awesome.
And so every time you buy a glass of that, $1 will go to the charities.
Wonderful.
So that's another way to get the money back.
You're drinking for a good cause.
Drinking for a good cause. Also, we're going to have a passport for the kids. So what they're going to do is do what we call a Santa scavenger hunt here on Main Street from 73 down to Mill Street. So it's the same traditional area. It will be involving all of the different retail organizations down here.
And the offices.
And the offices, and some of the nice sites like here at Rotary Park. And it will be something that they can learn from and have fun. It will be a scavenger hunt of finding things about Christmas, finding things about Springboro and the Springboro history, because as you know, this event started 34 years ago with the Historical Society, so it's a good way to remember our roots. And so the kids will have all these fun things to do with their parents and get into the different shops here on Main Street. Once they've done that, they turn in their passport. The kids will then get a craft kit, because with a normal traditional time, they would have a children's tent and be able to get the crafts there. But since we have a children's tent, they're going to get a craft kit to take home. And for the parents, it also becomes an entry for that traditional Christmas wreath that is always raffled off down at the children's tent every year. So other than not having a parade and not having craft vendors, it's going to be pretty much like the festival, just socially distanced around about the town.
Well, it sounds fantastic, and it sounds like the committee has really put in a lot of work to give the community something to look forward to and to still support the 3 charities that you give to every year.
Yeah, that was our number one thing, is we can't let the charities just be
Well, they
there
depend on
they
you.
depend on us. And so we said, we've got to do something to be able to go out and take care of them. And so we came up with 12 Days of Christmas. It's an idea that's really running well. Don't be surprised if it does a really good job, that it becomes part of the whole festival in the future, which would be even more fun in this town.
I agree. Yeah.
So
I mean, that would be amazing.
it'll be fun. And here at Rotary Park, we will have it all lit up for Christmas starting on the 11th of November and make it through this very unique year of 2020.
It is a unique year. It's unprecedented is the word, isn't it?
That's a very kind way to put it, yes.
It's the most ladylike way I could think.
Yes, it is. So that's what's going on.
Well, we appreciate everything that you and the committee have done, and I have no doubt that the Springboro community will definitely be feeling the Christmas spirit, just as we have for the past 34 years in November.
Absolutely. And then next year we'll be back at it again.
God willing.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well, and if people want more information about the festival and the 12 days of Christmas, the new aspect to it is they go to springborofestivals.org.
Correct.
Okay.
It'll be on the website. We're also doing social media, so there will be Facebook announcements, Instagram posts. Ann Feltz, who's in charge of all of our PR, does a wonderful job with all that. So there's going to be a lot of press releases and things as it comes to fruition, but we're moving along smartly, and it will happen on November 11th through November 22nd.
So we're going to have a safe version of Christmas in Springboro this year.
Yes, we are.
But we're still going to be in the Christmas spirit.
We'll be in the Christmas spirit, socially distanced, but having a great time.
Awesome. No Scrooge in Springboro this year.
Never. We won't allow Scrooge to be here.
No way. Well, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
And I hope to have you again on 4506.
Oh, I'd love to. I have fun.
Well, thank you. Back to you. Thanks, Doug. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and we look forward to seeing this new version of Christmas in Springboro for 2020.
And while I'm thinking about it, Doug, we appreciate your 20 years you served in the United States Navy. Thank you for your contribution to the country.
Absolutely.
Well, it's that time again.
I hear a drum
Here
roll.
we go. Chip Beall is going to be joining the Meet Your Neighbor segment. He is a veterinarian of a veterinarian and also in Springboro, his dad, Gary Beall.
Yes.
So Chip Beall, let's go see that interview. It's very enlightening. We have Chip Beall with us, veterinarian. Chip, so glad you visited with us today.
Yeah.
The community needs to know who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
So yes, my name is Chip Beall, Springboro Veterinary Hospital. I was actually born and raised in Springboro. I'm 35 years old, so between high school and being a veterinarian, took about a 15-year break. 15 years too long though, because I found my way back. But yeah, I was born on Main Street. My mom owned a Christmas shop right on Main Street, so I remember laying underneath the Christmas tree, sucking my thumb. For some reason, I remember that. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah. What made you get into I know your dad's a vet, so is that how you got into it, or do you always have a love for pets?
Basically, I found my way to veterinary medicine in a roundabout way. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. My dad used to come to my classes and do like show and tells with surgical instruments, but when I was in Springboro, I was heavily involved in sports, heavily involved with my friends too, so I wasn't quite as focused on becoming a veterinarian. I always thought it'd be too hard to become one. So when I graduated high school, I studied business. And when I graduated from business school, I worked for a couple years and decided, you know, vet school's really, really hard to get into. Ohio State's one of the best, but if now's the time to do it. And I figured I'd be 32 as a veterinarian or wishing I was a veterinarian. So I quit my job as a young professional and went forward and got in. Luckily, I got in on my second try. My dad got in on his third try. So I kind of hold that over his
Hold that over his
Oh,
head.
yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, so I'm in my third year now as a veterinarian.
So you're Ohio State graduate?
Yep, Ohio
Go
State.
Bucks.
That's right,
Yeah,
go Bucks.
There's only one football team in the country, the Ohio State
That's
Buckeyes.
right. Yeah, and we have a wide wingspan across the world, really, Buckeyes.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Bucks. Go
Yeah.
Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Anyway, so you have a child?
Yeah, I have a son. He's 5 years old, and he tells me that he wants to be an animal doctor and
Oh,
a
that's
ninja.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So he wants to be a ninja also. So we'll see whichever one comes out there.
Yeah, well, you know, he's still got some time at 5 years old to
Yep.
decide. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
But I'm
Yeah.
excited for him because, you know, growing up in Springboro all the way through preschool and high school, his plans to do the same thing, and it's gonna be kind of cool to see how much it's the same small town but so different. Because I grew up, Jonathan Wright was my elementary school right behind our clinic, and you know the big monster playground back there. He doesn't have that, so we'll see. I'm kind of interested to live through him a little bit on that.
Well, you've been around since you were a little boy.
Yep.
So what have we done good? What have we done bad? What could we improve on, if anything? The audience, we always get our feedback from our Meet Your Neighbor surveys, whatever, because just like the show, we want our show to be the best it can be, want our community to be the best it can be. What can we do better than we're doing now, if anything?
This is the community? Yeah. Springboro's always supported each other. Like I know Springboro's gotten a whole lot bigger over the years. I think I graduated with 280 kids in my class. The freshmen had 500 when I was a senior. But that still same small town feel is there. Sporting events are always connected. Christmas in Springboro, I know a lot of people talk about that. Having that every year is probably the best thing because I think kids come home from college for that. Just keep hyper local is what we call it. Keep everything small and supporting local business.
Well, we call that charm.
Charm.
Yeah.
Charm.
Have you been out to visit any of our concerts at the park?
Yes, I took my son to the first one this year, the Disney.
Oh yeah, that really went over good for
all
the kids.
the way from New York City.
Yeah,
that was amazing. So I love that, the food trucks. Nobody told me there was beer tents there last year, so I like that addition this year. So,
well, the proceeds go to Pee Wee football.
Well, perfect.
Yeah. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and Pee Wee football, I hope my son's going to do that. Good to see the same family involved running that.
And I'm sure being a veterinarian and going to Springboro, you see a lot of people that you know.
Yep. It's actually today I had one of my old wrestling rivals from Imesburg as one of my clients.
Oh,
so it's kind of cool. You come back to town and he's a pharmacist, I'm a veterinarian, and we used to like be rivals, but now we're friends, so it's kind of cool.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, we want to wish you success in all that you do as a veterinarian. And if somebody wants to have their pet taken care of, what phone number would they call?
Yeah, so the best way is our phone number. It's 748-1378. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram. My mom's actually in charge of all that stuff, so it's kind of the whole family's involved somehow. But yeah.
Well, I did a ribbon cutting for your mom at her new place there.
Yeah.
That really looks neat in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is nice.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Well, I went by there on Labor Day weekend. It looks like they were having some dinners like going on outside. They had some picnic tables set up. I guess they were open. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is nice. They're always doing something down. I don't even know everything they're doing half the time. So.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, well, thanks for spending time with us. Thanks for being here. You have any parting shots that you'd like to say, and anything you want the community to know, the audience to know about you?
The main thing
the community?
is I want to thank you guys and Carrie to keep doing this stuff. I mean, you guys year after year keep doing all this stuff and really keeping Springboro communicated and close and positive too. It's important today. It's very important.
It is, and we appreciate contribution the Beall family's made to the community.
Yeah.
You've been a big part of that.
Well, thank you.
Your mom, your dad, and yourself. So we just all keep working together and making it better and better, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chip Beall, way bye. Thanks, Chip, Dr. Chip Beall, for being on our show. We appreciate it. Appreciate what you do for the community. Appreciate what you do for all our little furry friends that we're running around, like in here at Logan's Bark Park. Anyway, Carrie, another show. You know, we're getting closer to the holidays, et cetera, so we want, even though we have our challenges in the country with all the pandemic going on right now, we have the greatest country in the world. We are people who love people and care about people, and we'll get through this. We surely will. It's a matter of when. So anyway, November 3rd, don't forget to vote.
Yes.
Exercise your right to vote. Right, wrong, or indifferent, vote. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.